Hello everyone, Ayumilove here for another Awaken Chaos Era guide. In today's video, I'll be showcasing my Magisteria team that I used to farm stage 12. So let's take a look. So I'll show you this team on full auto in 2 times speed, so you can see how long it takes to run this team. So I'll run this with a multi-battle to disable the ultimate animation. So Santis comes in with the AoE defense down, perform her basic attack. Mary comes in with an invisible buff. Ice Wolf is his counter attack buff, and Nathalia nukes everyone. Then we move on to the second round. Santis performs her basic attack. Mary applies her buff on a random ally. Ice Wolf attack, and Nathalia nukes everyone with her ultimate ability. And now we are on the third wave to the boss. Santis does her basic attack. Mary does her thing as well. Ice Wolf applies his counter attack buff. And Nathalia will go before the boss. Everyone attack due to the counter attack buff. Ice Wolf dies due to the AoE nuke attack. Nathalia revive everyone and nuke everyone again. So Santis has the flame bomb, which will be removed by Mary. And Mary will apply the invisible buff to protect everyone. And since there's remaining Fire Imps, the boss will sacrifice 50% of that health, leaving around about 38% health. So Mary comes in with a nuke, nuking everyone again. Santis apply the AoE defense down, so Nathalia can deal more damage. Mary applies her buff on Nathalia since she has the least amount of health. So that's the run. I think the run is below 2 minutes, around 1 minute and 32 seconds. The fastest time that I took is 1 minute and 29 seconds. So let me show you my heroes that I used to farm. So I have Ice Wolf, Mary, Nathalia, and Santis. Ice Wolf here is to apply the counter attack buff, so everyone can deal extra damage to the enemies. Mary is here to apply her block damage buff, which is the invincible, to prevent the AoE nuke damage from the boss. And she's also quite helpful here to apply the buff that grants extra turn to Nathalia. Okay, so for Nathalia, she's the main AoE damage nuker to clear the first 2 waves as well as to clear the Fire Imps, surrounding the boss. And finally, we have the 4th hero, Santis, which is our main poisoner, to poison the boss with a poison debuff using her basic attack. For the spells, we have 2 spells here, Sundering Purgatory, which applies the AoE defense down on all enemies for 2 turns. And Last Breath here is to revive a random ally and resets all of their abilities cooldown. So this Last Breath is used to revive our Ice Wolf here. So let's take a look on how they work in battle. So I'll put this on manual and 1 time speed, so you guys can see how it works. So as you notice, the first action that my hero takes is to apply the AoE defense down, the Sundering Purgatory. Since Santis is the fastest hero here, he will take her turn first. And the most important note to know is the AoE defense down is affected by your hero's focus. If her focus is too low, you'll notice that the enemies will resist them. So it's best to have your hero with high focus to apply this AoE defense down. And another important note here is the speed tuning. The heroes will move in a sequence, which is Santis will go first, followed by Mary. Third will be the Ice Wolf, and fourth will be Nathalia. Okay. So during on auto, right, I will disable Santis skills, so she will only perform her Void Contact basic ability. She'll do it on a random enemy. Let me select one of them. And she's currently equipped in Curse Set, so as you notice, there's a bonus attack. This allows her to have a chance to apply multiple poison debuff on the enemy. Then we have the second hero, Mary. During on auto, she applies her ultimate ability, Refuge, which removes 1 negative effect and grants 1 stack of invincible. So this buff will provide an additional 10% damage to Nathalia. The Ice Wolf here will apply his Roar of the Wild, his ultimate ability, which grants counter attack to all team members. The special thing about this counter attack buff is it does not have any expiration debuff duration, so it will stay as long as the enemies does not attack them. Whenever that enemy attacks them, then the counter attack buff will expire. And now finally we have Nathalia. When she takes her turn, she will trigger her passive skill, which is called Arcane Ward, which applies the attack up and immune for 2 turns if this character is buffed by a positive effect. Since she's already buffed by Mary, which has the Invisible and Ice Wolf counter attack, she will then trigger this skill, passive skill. So she needs to have at least 3 positive effects to deal damage to these three enemies who are. Hey, it doesn't show the name. Basically, these are 3 enemies at the back. If she doesn't have sufficient buff, right, she cannot wipe out the enemy. She must have at least 3 positive effects. And the most important note that if she does not have her Ascension unlocked to Ascension 2, right, she will not be able to kill these enemies. She needs the Ascension 2 to be unlocked so she can deal 10% extra damage for every positive effect she has. This is very, very important. If you do not have this Ascension trait unlocked, you will need at least 2 AoE nucleus. So during on auto, she will use her ultimate ability, Arcane Nova, to nuke the wave. Since this attack ability is very strong, you will kill at least 1 enemy and reset the ultimate cooldown. Alright, Santis will go in again with her basic ability. Then her curse set procs the bonus attack. Then Mary will randomly apply her Inspiration, this special ability that grants a bonus turn to a team member at the end of the round as well as damage up and immune. So I'll just apply it to Nathalia. Since the Ice Wolf ability is on cooldown, he will just randomly attack an enemy. And finally, Nathalia will apply her Arcane Nova ultimate ability. Since this one is already reset due to the first wave she killed an enemy, this one is unlocked again. So she can cast her ultimate again. Then she will say, "Do you believe in magic?" if you do not disable the sound effect. Alright. So as you can see down here, right, that's the hero avatar with Santis, Mary, Ice Wolf, followed by the boss, Magisteria, then Nathalia. For the first 3 heroes, right, their speed must be above 140 so that they can go after the boss. For Nathalia, her speed is below 140, it's between 120 and 140. She needs to have above 120 speed so she can go first after the first 2 waves. This is done purposely for Nathalia to go before the boss. So in this round, Santis will apply her basic attack, which is this Void Contact. Add her curse set proc again, followed by Mary. Since her skills are all on cooldown, she'll do her basic attack. And finally, the wolf will perform his Roar of the Wild again. This is ultimate is ready. Then the boss will nuke everyone with his AoE attack and gets a bonus turn. And all of my heroes here will counter attack since there's a counter attack buff. Alright. So as you notice, the Ice Wolf is already dead. This is done on purpose. His health must be within 3 to 4,000. If it's more than 4,000, he will not die. And above 3,000, so he can is able to receive the damage from the flame bomb, and survive against it. So in this round, right, Nathalia will cast this last breath to revive the Ice Wolf that was killed by this boss. So let me put auto. Let's revive the Ice Wolf. And now Nathalia can reuse her Arcane Nova. And it's very important that she must not be equipped in curse set. So that can proc her. Because if Nathalia is in curse set, right, she will She will attack, kill the Fire Imps, then she has a chance to trigger this basic attack, which grants a random stats up to kill more enemies. We do not want her to kill all the enemies. We want to leave some so that she can kill some and keep some spare so she can keep on recharging her ultimate Arcane Nova ultimate ability. And she must build quite strong, at least around about 3,800 to 4,000 attack to be able to kill these 5 imps even without this attack up buff. As you notice here, there's a attack up 30% attack. Okay, she'll do her Arcane Nova. Since she only has 3 positive effects, she will only kill 4 Fire Imps. Or I think 3, because including the boss. Alright, as you notice, the boss will throw his Flame Bomb after Nathalia round. So this Flame Bomb attack, right, you'll do around to 2 to 3,000 damage on Ice Wolf if the boss throws on the Ice Wolf. And Ice Wolf must be able to tank that damage. Otherwise he cannot recast his counter attack buff on his round. Followed by Mary. Mary apply the Refuge ultimate ability. The most important thing to note here is Santis must go first, followed by Mary. If Mary was the fastest in the team, right, she'll apply the invisible buff. Then when Santis take her turn, this invisible buff will be expired. When it expired, the boss will use his AoE nuke that can wipe out the hero. So Ice Wolf, after being revived by the last breath, he'll apply this counter attack. Then he will go back to sleep. And the boss will use his AoE nuke. The invisible buff will protect them. Then all of the heroes will counter attack since they have counter attack buff. And as you notice, right, since the boss have additional 5 imps alive here, right, he will sacrifice 50% of his health. This one, I think. Yep. Over 50% of health. This is important so that you can clear him quickly. It's like an additional 30% damage on his health. Alright, with Nathalia turn, she will use her Arcane Nova again to wipe out the remaining enemies. Okay, so Santis will begin her turn again to apply the AoE defense down, followed by her basic attack. Then Mary, as you notice, right, in this turn, Nathalia here has 5,000 health, followed by Mary 13,000 and Santis 12,000. Since Nathalia has the lowest HP, right, Mary will apply her Inspiration special ability to the lowest ally health, which is Nathalia, which grants her a bonus turn to her as well as damage up and immunity. So this provides her with an additional buff to deal extra damage with an additional extra turn so she can deal her basic attack to finish off the boss. Nathalia will be able to use her Arcane Nova ultimate ability followed by her basic attack. Alright, 1% health. And then she apply this Arcane Surge to finish off the boss. So that's how it works for this Magisteria speedrun. Alright, let me show you the heroes equipment as well as the stats. So let me begin with Santis. This is Santis total stats. She has 16,000 health, 1,500 defense, 162 speed, and around about 84% focus. 80% focus is sufficient for most stage 12 bosses in Arcane Dominator. And the health and defense, right, it must be around about 60% more than Nathalia. Nathalia has around about 10,000 health and 1000 defense. So you need to have at least around 60% more than her to allow Mary to apply a buff to Nathalia. Okay. So the most important thing about Santis is she must have Ascension 5, which is this one, which allows her to 100% apply the poison debuff whenever she attacks with her abilities. Without this, right, your run will be very, very inconsistent since it's only 50%. And her skills are all maxed out. But these two skills are not really important because you only want to use this Void Contact for Magisteria. For other Arcane dominated dungeons, you'll need to have all this to be maxed out. Let me show you the gear. She is currently equipped in Curse Set and Raptor Set. Raptor Set is to provide additional 20% focus, and Curse Set is to provide Santis with an additional 35% chance to launch a bonus attack with her basic attack. This allows her to apply multiple poison debuff. So let me quickly go through each of the equipment. So we have the weapon here, which prioritizes on focus. For the helmet, we have health and defense. The chest plate, we want to have health and defense. This is a defense boots with some health percentage and flat defense. We have a health ring with some speed. And lastly, we have the pendant or the necklace with a focus, 32% focus with some health and defense. And she is fully glyphed out, and her abilities are fully maxed out. Let's move on to the next hero, which is a Mary. Let me search her through this filter. So Mary, I level her up until level 60, which is important because I want her to have at least 60% more health than Nathalia. I currently have her around close to 18,000 health to make up for the low defense. I have 1,400 defense on her with speed 154. She must go second after Santis. Santis is 152 speed, while Mary has 154 speed. The rest are not important. And for her Ascension, I fully ascended her to gain the additional health, attack, and defense percentage. And you want to get her to Ascension 2 at least to remove the negative effect. Let me read through. Okay, I understand now. So basically, the Ascension will provide the healing if they have. Okay. You only heal whenever there's a debuff remove. So it's not really important here. The most important thing is to have her additional health and defense through this Ascension. So she has a 50% basic health from the first Ascension. And speed up, this is important because if you are not able to get the additional speed from the gears, this Ascension will help her to gain this 15% more. So this is important, defense percentage and health. Right. So let's look through to her gears. She's currently equipped in 3 sets. Terra set for 50% health, Warrior set for 50% attack, Raider set for 50% plus 15 speed. So you can pause the video to see these details uh, based on your preference. So for this weapon, I prioritize on health, helmet for health as well, the chest plate for health and defense. This is a health boost with some defense, percentage and flat defense. This is a health ring with some basic health. And lastly, we have the necklace with a health percentage and some defense. She is almost close to max out glyph. The most important thing is to get her additional speed here, as well as the additional health from this glyph, last glyph. Her abilities are fully maxed out. Let's move on to the third hero, which is a common hero. I have the Ice Wolf here. You do not need him to be rank 5, you can just get him to rank 4. The most important things to note here is he needs to have health between 3 to 4,000 so he can tank the initial damage from the flame bomb so that he does not get killed from that. And as low defense as possible because you want him to get killed by the boss AoE nuke attack. He's the third hero to go with 150 speed, and the rest are not important. And these are his gears. I have 2 radius set on him. You do not need this equipment to be fully upgraded. You just need it to be high speed just to go after the boss. Not too tanky. So I have a speed boost on the Ice Wolf and just a regular normal raidering. And these are his glyph. You do not need to get the health, otherwise he'll not be get killed from the boss attack. This one you can avoid. Just give him more speed. Attack. So actually you do not need to get him to glyph level 4. This one I'm just basically testing him out on other areas. Right. So this is the third hero. Oh yeah. I think you can also ascend him to gain additional speed. So this is basic health, attack, defense, speed. So if your equipment is not that good, does not have sufficient speed, you can use this one to get 15 speed here. But it needs 15 ascension. No, I mean the 5th ascension. And finally, we have Nathalia, our main euchre. It's an epic water element hero with a flying book partner. Right, let's see Nathalia's total stats. She has 4,600 attack with 100% critical rate and 210% critical damage. For the attack and critical damage, you can balance it out. It depends on your gears. For me, I have more attack and less critical damage. I have seen some players who can run Nathalia with 3,800 attack and around about 260% critical damage. But the most important thing to note here is her damage must be able to clear the first 2 waves, followed by the Fire Imps. Alright, and the next important stat to take note is the speed. The speed must be below 140 for Magisteria stage 12, and her speed must be above 120 speed. If it's 120 or below, right, she cannot go after the first 2 wave. The first 2 wave will nuke her down. This is very, very important. And the next important note is she needs to have the second ascension to unlock this Ascension effect. For every positive effect this character has, their abilities will affect an additional extra enemy and damage is increased by 10%. As you can look here in this Ascension, this is her Ascend tool to unlock this one. If you do not have this, right, you cannot run Nathalia in Magisteria stage 12 because it's too difficult to kill the side minions, even with a high end gear. Alright, let me walk you through the gears that I have on her. Currently I have just warrior set. It's just a broken set, Rage and Raptor. So the main stats to prioritize on Nathalia is you want to have her with high attack, critical rate, critical damage, and speed. This equipment just shows basically all of those stats that you want to look for in each of the equipment. Right? Some equipment you cannot get speed on like helmet and chest plate, but you can get for attack and critical rate and critical damage. So that was the helmet with attack and critical rate. The chest plate with attack, critical rate, and critical damage. This is quite good. This is a warrior boots. This one is quite a bad roll, but I use this to achieve the one of the Evelyn's guide completely. But for this triple flat stats is not really useful for most heroes, but it will be useful for some heroes that have low health. And we have a critical rate ring here with some attack, health and speed, and an attack ring here with a critical rate and critical damage. She's fully glyph out with some glyph here to grant her some additional speed and some attack. Okay, so all of her abilities are all maxed out. So that's it for Nathalia. Right, to recap on what I have mentioned throughout the video, there are 5 important things to note. First thing would be the speed sequence. Santis must go first, followed by Mary. That would be the Ice Wolf, and finally Nathalia. All 3 heroes, right, Santis, Mary, and Ice Wolf must be above 140 speed, whereas Nathalia, she must be above 120 speed and below 140 speed of the boss. The second important note is that Nathalia must be ascended to Ascension 2 so she can utilize the buff to deal extra damage. So for every positive effect she has, she'll deal additional 10% damage. And for Santis, it's best to have her to 5th Ascension so she can consistently apply her poison debuff to knock out the boss quickly. So that's the second point, which is the Ascension. The third point is Nathalia must be built strong so that she can kill off the first 2 waves with ease, as well as the Fire Imps. She must not be equipped in Curse set because this will lead to killing more Fire Imps than she needs to have to kill. If she kills more of the Fire Imps surrounding the boss, then she cannot reset her ultimate skill cooldown. Which means she will deal less damage in the overall run. And the fourth point would be Ice Wolf. You must have him between 3 to 4,000 health and as low defense as possible because you want him to get killed by the boss but not get killed by the flame bomb initial damage. For the fifth point, both Santis and Mary must be built quite tanky, around about 60% health or 60% more defense compared to Nathalia. So Nathalia will take the most damage, and then Mary AI will apply her buff on Nathalia so she can perform 2 turns to deal more damage on the boss to finish him within round 5. And the sixth point is Santis, you just need to disable her skill during auto because you want her to apply more poison debuff on her basic ability. It's best to gear her in curse set so she can apply more poison on her basic attack. So I hope you learned something from this video. If you found this video helpful, click on the like button and click on the subscribe button so you get notified on new videos that I publish on this channel. If you have any questions regarding on this video guide, just post a comment below and I'll answer it as soon as possible. Thank you guys for watching and have a nice day. Bye.